Shah from H Institute of Engineering and Technology from the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Today I am going to explain you three topics of concept of frequency in continuous and discrete time signal. Then the next one is disadvantages of digital over the analog signal processing, and the last topic is applications of DSP. From the subject of digital signal processing, from the first unit, which is introduction to DSP. Now the first topic is concept of frequency in continuous and discrete time signal. Suppose if we want to relate the frequency in continuous time signal and discrete time signal, then how we can relate these two things? So for that, first of all, we are defining the continuous time signal frequency in the simple domain and in the frequency domain, and we will also represent the discrete time signal frequency in simple domain and the frequency angular domain. So if we are defining it, so first of all consider that for the analog signal, if we are defining the frequency, it will be representing in the form of either ohm or it will be representing in terms of F. So for that, if we are defining any analog signal, then analog signal, standard signal will be representing like this: a x of t equals to a cos 2 pi f t plus theta, in which a is the amplitude of the signal, capital F is the continuous time signal frequency, and theta means the angle of it. Now we have to relate this frequency with the discrete time signal. So how we will relating it? So for this, first of all, we are taking the discrete time signal x of n, which is representing by using, if we are representing whole t in the continuous time signal, it will be representing by n number of t. Means n number of samples will be combinedly considered as t, right? So instead of this small t, we will taking n number of capital T, in which capital T is considered as sampling time. So after n number of sampling time interval, it will gives you the total entire range of the continuous time signal. So T will be, small t will be representing as n into capital T. So if we are putting this value in the above equation, then the equation will be like this: x of t will convert in terms of x of n, means it will continuous time signal will converting in the form of discrete time signal, because we are taking the samples at the interval of capital T. So x of t will be converting in terms of x of n, which is representing as x of n equals to a cos 2 pi capital F n into capital T plus theta. But you can say that capital T means sampling time. So it is inverse of the sampling frequency. So capital T equals to 1 upon Fs. So in this equation, I will put, instead of this capital T, we will taking 1 upon Fs. So the equation will become like this: x of n equals to a cos 2 pi f capital F n into 1 upon Fs. So it will representing as 2 pi capital F n divided by Fs plus theta. So this is the final representation of discrete time signal, which is deriving from the continuous time signal. But you know that what is the representation of any signal in the discrete time signal? It will be representing in terms of x of n equals to a cos 2 pi fn plus theta, right? So if I am applying this rule, then we will equating this equation with that equation. So if we are representing it, so the next step is the standard equation will be representing that, like discrete time signal will be representing as x of n and its value equals to a cos 2 pi fn plus theta. So if we equating it with it, then we can say that f equals to capital F divided by Fs. Now if we are representing it in terms of angular form, then we can say that a cos omega n plus theta. So angular frequency will representing for the continuous time signal, we are representing it in terms of omega. So omega equals to 2 pi capital F. Now it will comparing with small omega. So if we are representing the discrete time signal, then the equation will be x of n equals to a cos om n divided by capital Fs plus theta. So by using this formula, we can say that the value of omega equals to ohm upon Fs, and it will be representing as ohm into it. So these two equations are basically used for the relationship between continuous time frequency with discrete time signal frequency. So this one is the basic formula for the frequency and this one is for angular frequency relationship, in which you can say that omega means it's a discrete time angular frequency and ohm means it's a continuous time angular frequency. So by using this two formula we can correlate the continuous time signal frequency with discrete time signal frequency. So in any application, if we know about the continuous time signal frequency and if you want to derive the discrete time signal, then we can easily derive by using this relationship. Similarly, if we are knowing about the discrete time frequencies and if you want to derive the continuous time signal, then we can easily derive by using these two formulas. So this way we can convert from any one form to another form frequency for simple form or for the angular form. Now this is the relationship between continuous time signal frequency and with discrete time signal frequency. Now the next topic is disadvantages of digital over analog signal processing. In the last session, we had seen that what are the advantages of digital signal processing over the analog signal processing. There are various advantages for digital signal processing over the analog signal processing because we are not using any components, resistor, inductor, capacitor separately. So because of it, it will give various advantages in the digital signal processing. But as we are using the digital signals for the process on it, so for this in the digital signal processing we have to use analog to digital converter and digital to analog converter. Why? Because if we are saying that any information signal, like suppose if I am saying something, so it will be in terms of analog form. And if we are using the digital signal processing, then in the digital signal processing we can process on the digital signals only. So if I am saying something, we can't process on this spoken words, right? So for that, first of all, we have to convert this spoken words, which is in the form of analog, we will convert it in terms of digital form. And after it, then we will process on this digital signal. So first of all, I have to convert this analog signal into particular digital signal. For that, we have to use some circuits. Then we have to convert digital signal back to the analog form because the original signal is in the form of analog. So the recovered back signal should be in the form of analog only, right? So for that, we have to convert the digital signal back to the analog form after the process on it. So for that we have to use A to D converter, D to A converter, and in this process there will be various kinds of noise will be occurring. So for that we have to use, like suppose if we are using anti-aliasing filter when we are converting in terms of A to D conversion, and before that we have to use this anti-aliasing filter, and at last for the reconstruction of this signal we have to use reconstruction filter, right? So this kind of filters and converters will be used in the digital signal processing as we had seen in the last session, which is elements of DSP. So we have to use this number of blocks for any one application only. So it will gives you the more complex design, right? So the first disadvantage is the system complexity because we are using more complex components in this. We are using A to D converters, D to A converters, or we are using the reconstruction filter, or we are using the anti-aliasing filter, samplers, likewise. So this whole process will be used for any one application only. So it will give you the more complex system. Now the next disadvantage is bandwidth limitation. How the bandwidth will be limited? Suppose if I am taking the continuous time signal, then for any continuous time signal, its bandwidth is fixed. But suppose if I am converting this analog signal into corresponding digital signal, so for any one sample, I have to use number of digital bits. And for each and every bit, it has some predefined bandwidth. So the total bandwidth, suppose if I am taking this much of bandwidth for the 1 bit, then the total number of bandwidth will increase. So bandwidth will be increased, so the requirement of bandwidth will increase. So due to that, the bandwidth will be limited for any one application. So there will be bandwidth limitations will be occurred in this digital signal processing. Now the next disadvantage is power consumption. It will consume more power because we are using so many components, so many devices like analog to digital converter, digital to analog converter. So for all these types of terms, we have to use more power, so that more power consumption is required. And now if we consider that for any for any small application, if we are using the digital signal processor chip, like suppose if I am taking the filter, so in the filter, if I am using the analog filter, then we have to use just R and C, or otherwise if I am using just L and C, then I can design the filter. So there is no need to use any another component for the filter design. But for the same application, using this digital signal processor, we have to use DSP chip. Then we have to use another components, like we have to use so many components for that. So for any small applications, we have to use this kind of more costly terms, like more costly digital signal processor chip will be used for a simple application of the filter. So because of that, the overall cost will be increased for the small applications. So the last disadvantage is cost. Cost is more for the smaller application. And if we are using more than one application, for that if we are using the digital signal processor, then it will be less costly, because by using single chip or single IC, we can design more number of applications. So in this, for small application, it will become disadvantage, and if we are using more number of applications, then it is same thing, it will be considered as the advantage. Now the next topic is applications of DSP. Now what are the applications of DSP? DSP's application will be in each and every field, because nowadays the real world will be based on the digital signals only, because there are various advantages of digital signals. So by using digital signals, we will process on it, and in each and every application field we will use this digital signal processor. So basically there are various fields where we can use a digital signal processor. The first area is in the image processing. For the image enhancement or animation process, we will use the digital signal processor. In the instrumentation and control, for the noise reduction or data compression, we can use the digital signal processor. In the speech or audio application, for the speech recognition or for equalization of the speech, we can use the processing on the digital signal. So we are using the digital signal processor for that. Then the next application is in the field of biomedical. In the biomedical instruments like patient monitoring, or in the ECG machine, or in the EMG analysis, we will use the digital signal processor. Now in the next, telecommunication, like suppose if we are using the for the echo cancellation or for data compression, we can use this digital signal processor. Next one is military. In the military application, how we can use DSP? For the secure communication and for radar processing, we can use digital signal processor. Now how it will be gives you secure communication? Because we are converting this original information signal, which is in the form of analog, it will convert in terms of corresponding to digital, right? So it will be in terms of ones and zeros, so it will be not recovered by any another intruders. So because of that, it will gives you the secrecy in the output. And in the consumer applications, like in the digital audio and video or television and music system, we will use DSP. Similarly, we can use industrial applications, and in the automotive applications like robotics or cellular phones, also we can use this digital signal processor. So basically in any field we can use this digital signal processor in different applications. Thank you so much.